Hi, everyone. It's Amanda Rieger Green. Welcome to Soul Sessions. Today, I'm so glad you're here. I'm always glad you're here. But if you're here today, there may be something deeper within you coming alive. I've spent a lot of time recently thinking about what matters, what's meaningful. I could even say it in a more pragmatic way, what my priorities are, what's important to me. Not so much the meaning of everything. What does this mean? What are the puzzle pieces telling me? What are the signs and synchronicities showing me? That's that searching, that seeking, that expansion of curiosity. But it's not that. It's more, where is their sentience? Where is their humanity? Where is their soul? And when I think about the moments in my day, the moments in my experience, my past, my life, my hopes, wishes, and dreams, whatever it may be, when I feel really alive, when I feel really present, connected, true, authentic, it's soul. And that soulfulness isn't always extraordinary. It's not always transcendent and magnificent and awesome. Sometimes it is brutal and it's painful, but it's real. And some things are lighthearted and superficial and just give you utter delight. There's soul in the delight. Where do you find your soul, your sentience, your connection, not only to the oneness and humanity, but the connection to something wholly other that is real, true, present for you? It could be like a milestone, you know, a child graduating, when you're sitting in the audience and they're 18 and graduating from high school, and you're having this reckoning moment where you are so proud for that 18-year milestone. And then you're also like, oh my gosh, it's been 18 years. Oh my gosh, they're 18. Oh my gosh, they're doing X, Y, and Z next. Oh my gosh, they're out of the house. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud. This is so huge. What does this open up for me? It's like everything and nothing. It's milestones that are celebratory and then also just stop you in your tracks. It's turning up the music in the car because an 80s or 90s song comes on the radio and you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard this in forever. And you just start moving and grooving and you roll the windows down and you sing really loud and you don't care who sees you in the car next to you. And then when that someone sees you in the car next to you and you feel utterly ridiculous, you still keep singing and you smile back at them. And then they kind of start laughing or smiling and you're just like, yeah, that's the juice. And I've done that a bunch of times. I think for those of you who listen, the car is my happy place. And it's where I usually don't talk much on the phone. I use it for my sacred space of meditation and time and being and doing something autonomic, where I'm driving and I obviously recognize stop signs and red lights. So I'm paying attention to the road, but I'm also somewhere else, like letting myself be. And whether that's through a podcast or a book or not reading a book, an audiobook, music, or just watching people on the street. The other night I was driving home and I think it was like 8:30, 8:45 or 9 at night. And where we live here in Cuenca in South America, it's a very vibrant and active city. And it's got more of a Spaniard and Western European influence. So the clock facing time, people take off from like 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. They have a siesta. There's this 2 straight hour lunch, whether it is the doctor's office or the hair salon, 1 to 3, even the kids, when they get out of school, they get 2 hours and parents come get them. they have their 2-hour break, and then they go back to school from like 3 to 5. So after 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, it's like life is happening around here. So the hours and the time's a little different. But I was driving home and yeah, it was like 8:45. And I'm driving along this gorgeous river. We have 4 beautiful rivers that flow in through the Andes mountain range into Cuenca. And the green space is insane. It's on the equator, so it's kind of blooming and green and changing it's an incredible ecosystem. So to see that, but at night, it's a very active city. People are running, people love their dogs, they're walking their dogs. And I was just driving home and I'm seeing people on the trail with their dogs. And I was kind of watching and smiling at the life happening, and there was a peacefulness to it, but a hustle and bustle. And I was taking that in, and then I get up closer to our street, and there's this meat market on the corner, and there were 2 or 3 people at 8:45 at night in line for the meat market, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I ate dinner at 5." Like, I'm like in the geriatric crowd. I eat early because I like to do my fasting, but I'm like, "There's people at the meat market, and it's 8:45 and families and kids," but I mean, that was soulful. It was so mundane and so ordinary, but I was seeing soul, I was seeing life, I was seeing like, "Oh, I live here, this is delightful to watch," and soulful is also it's trauma. It's when somebody gets sick and they need us to get them to the doctor. They need us to help. We get sick and we have to ask for help. It's like hard, but hey, I need your help right now. I need a ride to the doctor's office. Being the one to ask for it or the one to offer service to give it. Sitting in a waiting room, sitting in a waiting room through a surgery. I know you all can relate to that. When you're waiting for someone to come out of a surgery, whether it is critical or it's routine or whatever it may be, that can be soulful. That waiting, because there's like this not knowing, but then there's a resolve to be there and to see them on the other side and hear that the cancer is gone or the surgery was a success or to hear that we can't do much more. Sometimes soulful is the waiting room. I had a friend who used to call the waiting room as a metaphor, the hallway. When you're in the hallway, in one of those stages of life where you got all these doors, but they're not open yet. The opportunities, things haven't clicked into place. It's not quite time for the move, the change in season. So it's like you're up and down, you're pacing the hallway. And I had another friend respond to the hallway because we would talk about the hallway. Ugh, I'm in the hallway right now. It's frustrating. It's annoying. It's hard sometimes to find soul in the hallway. And by the hallway, I mean the not knowing, the uncertainty, the in between, because the restlessness comes out, the urgency, the trying to manufacture something new. But the moment you kind of let go of that, you can find like it's the void, it's the hallway, and there's a lot of richness there. And so my other friend would say, well, if I want to be in the hallway, I'm going to decorate it. I'm going to decorate all those doors. And I loved that analogy. She's like, because I'm going to just make the most of the hallway. If it's the waiting room, the in between, there's soulfulness in witnessing somebody's pain when somebody is in deep distress, pain, loss, grief, and being the person that witnesses someone's pain without needing to change it or fix it or rush through it or respond to it, even just to be. Witnessing pain can be extremely uncomfortable, but it can also touch something deep within us. Being the one who is in deep pain and suffering and expressing it completely hysterically and organically just like the dancing in the car. You know, when you're dancing and you find the rhythm and somebody sees you, there's also those times of being in hysterical pain. And it doesn't matter who sees you in your ugly crocodile tears or your near hyperventilation of the utter pain of being heartbroken. There's something about being sentient and human that I'm noticing the people in and around my life or that pass through something about connecting on a very present and real level with whatever is. And again, it can be lighthearted and joyful and kind, a kind word, a random act of service, watching people at 8:45 at night enjoying the trail and their dogs and their families. There's something truly beautiful about our existence. And I know I sound existential, but it's personal. It's not existential. And being human means we're going to feel it all. We can try not to. We can sweep it under the rug. We can push it down. But I know for me, when I sweep, push down, and then eventually it blows like a volcano. And sometimes really soulful can blow like a volcano because it's like a pressure cooker. It can be catalytic to open something else. What is soulful to you right now? Where are you seeing your sentience, your beingness, your humanity? What is personal to you right now? And when I say personal, I don't mean taking things personally, wearing your heart on your sleeve, everything being about you. But what is personal? What matters? What makes sense? What feels good? What feels terrible? And where's the soul in it? I think about points and times in my life where, especially recently, I've been spending a lot of reflection time when I move, when I'm walking, or when I'm driving. Driving's a good time. And sometimes when I'm just sitting and journaling, but reflecting on not not gratitude, grateful for being alive, but this sense of like, what if the best is now? The last 3 weeks, that's like literally it came to me. I think it was in July. I was, going through the motions and all the things. And I was like, what if heaven on earth is now? That was the way my mind was metabolizing it, is what if heaven on earth is now? Meaning, like, what if the best is now? What does that mean? And it wasn't for me like live more, do more, go on more trips, you know, don't even worry about this. It wasn't about bigger, bolder adventures, seizing the moment. Like there was no, you've got to do this. Or if I was running out of time and it was my last day, I would have this. It wasn't an urgency and it wasn't a carpe diem. It was more like, if this was it today, is today a good day? Like, was I present? Was I here? Was I here for the early morning coffee and really relaxing into that time? Was I here for the people I communicated with professionally today and showing up for them and listening and being? When I had my time off in the day, did I give myself the allowance to enjoy my walk to the gym and not be looking at my clock and thinking about making a list in my head and planning this next podcast and doing, am I here? It was, today is a good day. I want to feel that way each and every day. And what does that mean? It means more soul, more soul in all the things, more sentience, more presence, more listening, more being. And the beauty of this that I've really seen in myself and so many other incredible people this year is this element of discernment, like knowing what is true for you in any given moment and organically honoring that without regret, guilt, remorse, or future tripping into worry. Like, okay, this is what's in front of me and this is true. And when that comes through, I think a couple of examples. And I'm not sure if I shared this on the podcast, but I went on this amazing, I know I shared this, but I went on this amazing retreat to Portugal with my sister. My sister was hosting it, and it was impeccable and beautifully curated and lovely people, and the food was amazing. And it was just over the top delicious, like tasting the deliciousness of life. But through the experience, I recognized something within myself about my ability to practice and live more discerningly, more, not so much authentically, but listening to my inner guidance and organically following that without question, without my ego coming in and saying, you should do this. It would be good. No, no, you should. Yeah, no, you need to show up for this. It was like, go at your own pace, show up for what you can and want to show up for. And if you can't, it's okay. Because that's true. It's the discernment. And I was just reflecting on how I was able to go do the things and be with the people organically that I wanted to be with, or spend time, or just go sit in the sauna for a couple of hours by myself. It was lovely time, but I saw the growth in myself. Whereas a few years ago, or I know me, I'm like, well, I should spend more time with this person, or I need to arrange this, or no, I should absolutely be here for this, or I should stay out a little later with everybody else because I'm going to, miss out. All those things that play through our head, that was not present in me at all. And it was really, what was soulful about that is I was true to myself, and nobody was mad at me or upset with me, and if they were, that was their business. Like I didn't take any of it personally. That's also soulful, that growth that we see in ourselves. The soulfulness is when we have this awareness of ourselves, like looking at ourselves through a Viewmaster. Remember those from the 1980s, a clicking Viewmaster? Like you're looking at pictures through the Viewmaster and you're right there, but you're watching and you're seeing it and you're seeing reality as it is, but you're also kind of like, it's nostalgic, it's amazing, it's connected. That's soulful. So seeing the soulfulness in yourself come out, like, and it's not judgment or praise or reward. It's like, whoa, I know what soulful isn't. Speaking of that, when I'm in fear and doubt, when I'm worried about something, when I'm future tripping, when I'm judging, when I'm feeling insecure and projecting it on somebody else, when I'm frustrated and irritable and I'm short with my husband, it has nothing to do with him, it has everything to do with me. Those things aren't soulful. And I'm human. Those things are going to happen. Those things organically happen within the human spirit. It's part of the lesson we came down onto earth to learn, to embody these physical bodies with feelings and emotions and thoughts and complexities. We're so complex. And to somehow simply find something that touches us from the inside out, big, small, hard, painful. So I know when I'm not soulful, and it's when somebody is talking to me and I'm thinking about my to-do list. I think I shared this with you all. It's been a long time ago, but I was in graduate school. My roommate said to me, so I'm like, 22 years old probably at the time. And my roommate said to me, and she knew me quite well. She said, Amanda, sometimes I'm talking to you and it's like you're looking right through me. I mean, that's been a long time ago, but it was one of those things that stopped me in my tracks because she wasn't wrong. Like, she could tell I wasn't listening. I wasn't present. Like, I was in my own world, but acting like I was listening. We're humans. We can do that happens. Sometimes we're having a rough day, so we are just going through motions, and it may not feel particularly soulful, present, meaningful, because sometimes we are in survival mode. But I'll tell you what, when I do go through something painful or traumatic, when life just puts the hammer down, unexpected loss and grief and pain, yes, that puts things into perspective, but it snaps me so much into the uncontrollable sense of being myself. I think grief and like sudden loss, sudden death, sudden illness, when we experience things like that in our lives, somebody walks home and says, I don't want to be married to you anymore. And you're kind of like stupefied, angry, sad, lost your bearings. Like there's no anchor, no tether, lost your bearings. Or somebody says, I've got pancreatic cancer and they've given me, 2 to 3 months. Like, what do you mean? You were fine the last 3. What do you mean? You have pancreatic cancer and you have 2 or 3 months to live. Like, it's sometimes pain and trauma can also almost shock us into soulfulness, because there's something about the depths and the darkness that also touches a part in our soul that maybe we can't access, just bebopping to the gym or sending emails, getting things done, end of the month deadlines. And this is not about being soulful in your end of month deadlines or trying to make soulfulness in the administration of life. But it's saying, hey, where's your soul coming through? Where are other people bringing it out? Where are you organically seeing your own soul, your presence, your sentience? And how can you recognize, see, cultivate more of that in your life? Life is now. And more than ever, we're on this precipice in humanity with intelligence speeding up, time speeding up, things becoming more erratic, unstable, volatile. The universe is positioning us very uniquely with this kind of gorgeous window of time. And it's saying, what's soulful? What's personal about you that touches humanity? How do you experience that, express that, share that, and do it again and again? Hope that this touches something in you and your experiences and where you are right now in your trajectory, in your personal journey, your spiritual journey, your journey of evolution and consciousness, your perspective and awareness. I hope that you're seeing the soulfulness and the sentience of what it means to spend time here on Earth, because it is pretty short in the grand scheme of things. And I mentioned this in a podcast recently when I was talking about some of the bigger arcs in astrology, about how someone said, what are you doing today to heal these things and step into these versions of yourself and grow and develop? And it's like, I'm doing my best. And that touched something in me, because what I was reminded of today is that we don't know what our choices, our decisions, our energies, our interactions, what kind of ripple effect they influence collectively, personally with others. When you get a call out of the blue or you connect with somebody you didn't expect to connect with, and they say to you, I just want you to know a few years ago when XYZ happened, it really meant a lot to me when you don't even know how that changed me or that helped me. Every now and then we get these like nuggets from the universe that remind us of something we did a few years back. And sometimes they're not very cute nuggets. Oh, do you remember that time you shut me out and didn't talk to me for 3 months? There's those too. Okay. That can be kind of a soulful moment of, oh yeah, I did that. And gosh, that was immature. A friend of mine told me the other day she had had a really tough week, like emergency surgery, breakup, like, it was just all the things, like, all the things, and, anyway, she had gone to get a pedicure, and it was like, "I'm just gonna, like, stop for a minute, have some self-care, get a pedicure," and she sat down in the pedicure chair, and the woman next to her in the pedicure chair was a woman from a handful of years back that she owed an amends to, like, that she had done wrong with, like, and she knew it, and they hadn't seen each other, and she said, "In that moment, I stood there in the doorway, and I thought I can either walk out of here and go get a pedicure somewhere else. I can sit down and I can have it out with her, get all my feelings out and how this bothered me and that bothered me, or I can sit down and I can be kind, I can own my stuff and move forward." And she said, "I sat down. I said, 'Hi, how are you?' And then, how is your spouse? And how is this? Wow, it's been a long time." And the conversation flowed as she got her pedicure. If that's not soulful, I don't know what is, because it's courageous. It was of integrity. It was not ducking and covering and running. She showed up with all of her mess in her self care place. But the universe said, "Hey, we're going to see how you really are going to walk through this energy." When she was already pretty like exhausted physically from the surgery and then emotionally, her heart in a place from the breakup. But the universe sometimes keeps asking us more. Like, you really show me. And that's a bit of how this energy feels right now. And it's not testing energy. It's divinely orchestrated to show your true colors. And as telepathy and in being able to energetically read people increases, which is happening in incredible ways, it's also exhaustive. The discernment and the soulfulness will show up. You know what it's like to scroll on Instagram and it's just, I mean, it's flat until somebody posts a picture of their kids and they're starting their first day of school. And you're like, oh, that's so cute. Oh, my friend from high school, her kids are starting 12th grade. Oh my gosh, how old am I? Oh, that's sweet. Like that's soulful, that's meaningful. But all the influence and the advertisements, it falls flat for me. Every now and then something will catch me because it feels true. Or I genuinely want to learn about something. Where are you finding your soul? I hope that you spend a little bit of time with yourself and the quiet, and maybe even write down, just reflect. Reflect on recent experiences that touched something in your soul, that woke you up presently and purposefully and true. And ask for more of that. Look for more of that evidence. Whatever we focus on does grow. So look for the soul. Be the soulful, sentient being that you are in all your presence, because that's where the magic comes in. That's where the receptivity, the things fall into place, the things fall apart. So something infinitely better can move through on the other side of that. If you're in a lot of pain and grief right now, don't rush to get out of it. Be in the stupor, be in the void of it, because that's soulful too, because it's painfully true. Be you. Thank you for joining me today. Be well, everyone.